Yes. Team Fortress 2. It has been around for over a decade with evolving game mechanics and playstyles. It has also seen weapons be nerfed and buffed. I have been playing TF2 for over 4 years and I've seen a lot of the game. Albeit I haven't actually played during any major updates because the last update, the General Inferno update, was almost 7 years ago and longer than I've been playing. However, that doesn't mean I'm not aware of any playstyles and or game mechanics along with inside jokes. The reason of this video is because TF2 is at an all-time high for players in its lifetime, and I believe I have a lot to offer in terms of showing newer players the ropes. I also think it helps since I'm not a tier 8 vet. I think I can connect with my audience a little more in hopes to actually create a connection to further show you how TF2 works. TF2, as you are aware, is a free-to-play multiplayer FPS game developed by Valve in 2007, and has been developed for exactly a decade. But enough with the specifics, let's actually talk about how TF2 works. As I mentioned earlier, TF2 has been changed from the early stages up until now, but one thing that hasn't changed are random crits. If you've played the game for more than 5 minutes, you either come to hate random crits or love them. Now this video won't be all about random crits and my opinions on them because there are hundreds of videos, threads, tweets, etc. about people's unbiased opinions on them. No, I'm talking about how they work and how they are an essential game mechanic that can make TF2 a little more interesting. Random crits were originally designed to keep the games from going into a stalemate, meaning the game can't have 2 winners or 2 losers depending on how you think about it. How random crits work, in my opinion, are wacky. Basically, how they work is a player with their weapon has a 2% chance to randomly get a critical shot. Essentially, the more damage you do in the last 20 seconds, the higher chance you will have to get a random crit. Now, these chances differ between melee and non-melee, as you see on screen. In other words, the more players swings their melee or shoots their gun, the higher chance they'll get a random crit, provided they actually dealt damage. So these random crits essentially only reward the good players if they do well, they're more likely to succeed, and get more random crits. Dealing with random crits in a game may be challenging to many players, where you're about to chain stab the entire enemy team and then get a crit rocket up your ass. What? Who wrote that? Doesn't matter. Many things like that might make a player question the overall skill ceiling of TF2. However, TF2 has a really high skill ceiling and can be very competitive, especially for the new players. It may be hard to start out, especially with the amount of veterans returning to the game after years of retirement, but I promise that putting the effort changes so much, and not every server comes out to be dominated by veterans. I encourage all new players to keep playing the game and try to improve on a specific class. There are 9 different classes, they're all uniquely different and they have their own ups and downs and counters to one another. Getting better at TF2 isn't easy, and being able to compete with the veterans won't be an attainable goal for quite some time. Good thing is, there are so many ways to get better at the game besides playing casual competitive lobbies. There are so many resources given to you to develop your skills, and the best part is they are all free. So why don't we go over some of them and see if any of them intrigue your interest. The training mode in TF2 is actually quite helpful. Yes, it's with bots, but it still provides a controlled environment where you can practice your skills. The bot difficulty ranges between easy and expert, and from experience, it compares to the servers you're probably used to. By manipulating the difficulty of the bots, that allows you to use the different weapons and see what they can actually do. It gives you more opportunity to actually experience the game rather than being curb stomped by a veteran soldier with the burning team captain. You can now actually be the curb stomper to see what it's like. You can try out different game modes accessible to you via training. For example, you have payload, control points, king of the hill, etc. All except for capture the flag, and I'll mention that later. All of these maps and game modes you can access in training are meant to help you develop. I probably have 100+ hours on training alone. Another way to further develop your skills in TF2 is to play the Man vs Machine game mode that everyone has access to. Now I'm going to assume everyone watching has played MVM or is quite familiar with it, but if not, I'm going to briefly describe what it is and how to play. Man vs Machine is a PvE style game mode designed for you to work with a team of real life players against waves of bots. These bots can range from low difficulty to high difficulty. You can have tiny regular bonk scouts, or you can have a giant tank carrying a bomb, or a giant rapid fire crit soldier. Notice how I mentioned a bomb? Well, the bot's goal is to carry that bomb to what is essentially the drop point where the bots are supposed to deploy the bomb. If they do, you lose the round. There can be up to 7 waves in a regular MVM game, not including community servers. Any questions? No? Okay, good, let's continue. So, as I was saying earlier, MVM is a great way to develop situational awareness and chaos control, along with aim training. For example, playing as engineer, you'll have to use your equipment available to the best of your ability, especially when there are 20 plus soldiers firing their rockets at all your buildings. You have to be able to utilize your wrench, maybe the rescue ranger, which I do recommend in MVM, and your wrangler, again, what I would definitely recommend. If you're playing medic, you have to bring back your teammates if they die, or honestly just prevent them from dying altogether. Playing medic in MVM could be the most stressful thing imaginable. You are the backbone of your team. You are what keeps all the damage dealers alive. And I forgot to mention, there's a whole credit system in MVM where each robot you kill drops a certain amount of cash. The cash can be used to buy yourself back if you die, so you don't have to wait for the timer to reach exactly 0, like pubs. And you can also use that to make upgrades on your weapons and class. And getting said money is harder than expected. That's why utilizing Scout is such an important variable for doing well in MVM. Scout can be upgraded so he can run faster and jump higher to get out of reach areas. He can collect money in a larger radius than any other class can. Scout gives your team buybacks, and he drastically helps everyone upgrade their stuff, so if you're looking to increase your skill in the basics of TF2, I would personally recommend grinding MVM. Also, there are two types of MVM. There's Bootcamp and there's Man Up. They're both the same exact thing with a slight difference. The only thing being is one you have to buy a ticket for. You're probably wondering, why should I buy a ticket for something I can do for free? And yes, you'd be right. We all like rewards, I would imagine, and Man Up gives you rewards. These things called tours in Man Up, and you play a certain amount of games to earn an award at the end of a tour. You also get much smaller prizes after every game of Man Up. You play so it feels like you didn't waste, like $1.30 for a game. Once you complete a tour, you can earn a fairly wealthy prize. You can win an Australian item, which is the shiny gold weapons you see, and it could have sometimes be worth a lot of money. So it is essentially gambling, okay? But a little more fun and just as addictive. I would know, so that's kind of the basics of MVM. And one more thing you need to know to improve at TF2 is a little downloadable map called TR_walkway. This is a downloadable map you can install for TF2 that is essentially for aim training and tracking. It is completely free and private if you want to. There are so many videos out there showing you how to get the map, but if you want me to make a quick tutorial, then I probably could do that. Anyways, there isn't much to tell you about TR Walkway, but these clips could probably speak for themselves. Anyways, I think that just does it for this video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope this was something helpful for all of you to see. I put a lot of time and effort into this, so, it really helped me out if you guys decide to like and subscribe and share. Anyways, I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.